Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to a solo live, wonderful late night edition of the Missing Wolves post game podcast live stream thing. Because I am solo, I am going to be doing this on TikTok as well. So, for TikTok viewers, how's it going? But we are here to break down a little bit of this Minnesota Timberwolves Chicago Bulls 4-game losing streak, I think is fair to say. But yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I'm Andrew Dukowitz, beat reporter for Zone Coverage. Still kind of collecting my thoughts after this weird game, but Minnesota loses 4 games in a row. I think this maybe could have been a. I mean, this should have been the win that kind of they get right on, but unfortunately, as we've seen with this Wolves team over the last few years, it just doesn't seem to be the case very often that they get right on the get right games. Luckily, I guess they play Golden State in 48 hours, so theoretically, they'll beat them by 30 if we know this team. But let's just talk about it a little bit. This team, just to kind of recap the game, at least from what I saw from my seat in the building, was, Jaden hits a pretty tough contested 3 to go up by 4. Bulls just kind of get a wide open 3 for Kobe White on the other end, and we asked Ant about it. I mean, I'm sure the replays are out there now. Like, it's pretty easy to see that Ant just blew the coverage. Like, he didn't have his hands up. He didn't close out very well. He was in no man's land in the possession, during the possession, and then didn't really close. And that ends up making it a 1-point game. Ensuing possession, Ant does a dribble ISO from the top, not even a pass on that possession. What do you do, essentially? Ends up getting a next track down. Bulls end up scoring again. I believe it was at one point a Trey Jones just kind of blow by everyone inbound pass for a layup, and then they have a chance to tie it, essentially get it back to a tie, and it's an inbound to Ant, no pass, no movement, hucks a 3. There's your game. Free throws make it a 5-point win for Chicago. But this is one of the few games that I feel pretty strongly like this one was kind of on Ant, which, I mean, we haven't been able to say that a ton this year. I mean, even if you're just waking up tomorrow, Friday morning, and looking at the box score, I mean, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, but it's the 2 early fouls in the first quarter that kind of derail everything. I asked him about it after the game, and he kind of admitted that, this is a like, it's hard. It's hard when you're used to playing the entire first quarter and then you're getting out on foul trouble. You're starting the second quarter. You're not used to playing with those guys. Like, it's difficult to get back into that rhythm. And it kind of, at least reading between the lines of his press conference, it just sounded like he was never able to get back into that rhythm, which then we see a 9 for 25 shooting game, 1 for 8 from 3, which, I mean, if you take those 8 shots out from 3, I mean, he was fine from inside the arc. It was just kind of the reliance on the threes. And then you kind of see the disengagement set in, where he's just not quite as impactful, which, again, not many games have been a woof. This was kind of cover to cover, maybe an Ant inflicted loss. I mean, you also see Julius Randle started the game really well. I know he's dealing with a foot thing, but yeah, Julius didn't really have a good close to the game either. A lot of just wild finishes, a lot of weird defensive things from him as well. So it ends up being a 4-game losing streak, which, again, it seems just in line with this Wolves team that this is kind of what happens to him at this point in the season. Last year around this time was when Dante, got his turf toe, and, it seemed like the wheels were falling off. Unfortunately, 3 years ago at this time, it was, Cat out with a hamstring and the wheels are falling off. And 4 years ago at this time, it's probably something else. And it just seems like the Wolves have to do it the hard way, which, I mean, everyone except for Ant after the game Finch kind of alluded to, these are kind of the stretch in the NBA season where maybe people aren't locked in as much. Nas says, they're the dog days of the season where, you just it's more difficult to find that motivation. And then you throw in like Randall saying like, yeah, there's just games where the energy isn't there and the effort level isn't there, which all of that spells that they're going to lose a game to Utah and then promptly lose a game to Chicago after taking the Spurs and the Rockets to the brink on the away floors, which I wish I had a better answer than what the players say, and the players just kind of own it. I think it's frustrating, certainly for fans, because they own it and then nothing seems to change. But again, it's just kind of where this team is at this point. So, Nat, I agree with you over on TikTok. Certainly, Randall played a lot more ISO ball than anything else in the fourth quarter. And that's kind of the downside of having Randall as like the primary creator, is that guy is going to try and score. I mean, 10 of 17, 30 points, like objectively not a bad game, but like he's going to try and score when he has the opportunity to. It's just tough in a game like this where it's like the Bulls don't have a lot of outside defenders. Like if you just get the ball moving, it seemed to work every single time. That's how Nas got a ton of shots, but it is what it is, right? I will say, like, there are, I think the Wolves are a mature enough team where I would not be surprised if they come out and beat the Warriors by 30, if they just kind of beat the brakes off of them. I wouldn't be surprised if they rattle off a 6-game winning streak after this and Ant is scoring 40 points a game. It just kind of seems to be the Wolves' way, where they need to fall into 7th place before they kind of take those steps forward, which again, I wish I had better answers for, why that happens. I'm going to throw us over to a quick break before we get to the like 20-minute mark, and then let's talk some trade stuff. There's Biz asks over on TikTok if they should be trading for a point guard. I know Mike Conley's been a hot topic over the last 48, 72 hours or so. I mean the bench again was kind of, a non-factor is probably an undersell in this game, but let's hit some ads and then we'll talk trade and bench woes. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read, this time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Keeping really quick, Pence Homes is still collecting food, money, anything for donations in the Twin Cities to deliver food to people that are kind of going up against it right now in Minneapolis. So if you wish to help with that at all, info@pencehomes.com. They can let you know if they need help with drivers or deliveries, how to donate money, how this process works, but any help is appreciated. Nate's been doing a great job making sure at least people have food during this time. So let's talk about a couple of the hot button issues of just this bench seems to really struggle. I mean, Jalen Clark, I think, God bless him, was shooting 40% from three for about a month, and now it's just there's nothing offensively. Like if he's not getting to the free throw line off of a drive, it just there's not a whole lot to his offensive game. The 3-point ball, he doesn't look confident shooting. I mean, they were not great tonight. 0 for 2, plays 12 minutes as a -7, gets 2 fouls. I mean, just a tough Jalen Clark game. You look one spot up, Johan plays 3 minutes, -5, gets 1 rebound, like really tough 3 minute stretch of Johan. Bones gets 12 minutes tonight, goes 1 for 6, 1 of 5 from 3. I've kind of said it before that like at times he kind of has the main character syndrome, right? Like where he's kind of pulling his own shots and calling his own number a little bit too much. And when the shot's hitting, it's fantastic. But on nights like tonight, gets tough really quick. And then Mike Conley, I mean, 1 of 5, 1 for 4 shooting, does pull down 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, but like he didn't really give you anything offensively either. I mean, teams are just leaving him open now. I think they would rather double a Julius or double an Ant and leave Mike and Jalen Clark completely wide open than put a body on them, and it shows. So like this team, I think when people are gonna when people bring up that they need a point guard, I push back a little bit just because like in the grand scheme of things, when it is playoff times, you're gonna have the 5 starting lineup, the 5 guys starting straight ups, right? Jaden's probably going to play 40 minutes. Ant's going to play 42 to 44 minutes. Dante is going to play 40 minutes. So from the point guard to the small forward position, you're only going to have like 15 minutes. And then Rudy and Julius probably both play 35 to 40. And you probably have, again, like 16, 17 minutes off the bench at the center position. Like if Johan is like a plausible answer, like that's, fine. But like right now, you're probably looking at like Nas is getting 30 of those 40 minutes off the bench, right? So like really what you need is just anyone that can give you anything consistently off the bench. And I think at times you see that Bones is that guy, but the consistency isn't there. I think at times you see Mike can be that guy, but the consistency is no longer there. So like more so like they just need a dude. They just need, like, I've been throwing out like Quentin Grimes, like it's just someone that can get buckets off the bench in a playoff series that can give you 10 minutes. And I mean, the Wolves are also kind of trapped in, are they going to trade Dante? Probably not. So like you assume the 5 starters and Nas are off the table, right? Like it just realistically, all of those guys are more important to this team than another team. And if they were to go out, like if Dante gets traded for Kobe White, I don't know what it does, right? But past that, like Mike's not getting traded. Like I would be shocked if Mike gets traded. I don't think he would be a salary filler for like another team. And I don't think Tim Connolly and the Wolves would do that to him after he kind of signed a sweetheart deal here. So then you got to go down another peg, and it's like Rob at $6.5 million, and you can pair him with like Lenny for $3 million, and you can get a guy about $9 million, which is your Quentin Grimes. If you're a center person, it could be a Brooke Lopez, it could be a Jock Landell, it could be like Trey Jones has been floated out there. We just saw him tonight. It could be a Desumu. Like there are guys out there, but like far much more than a point guard. And I see, over on the TikTok chat of just, Grimes would be perfect. We miss Nah. Like that's probably the part that we're not talking about enough is like they need a guy like Nikhil that can give them 10 minutes on a bad night and 20 minutes on a good night that just can play in a playoff series. And I'll be honest, like I do think they have 2 pretty clear holes at like a scorer off the bench, and I think Johan has been encouraging, but I don't know how much you want to bank like a playoff series as Johan being your change of pace big. But they kind of got to fix both of those things. Um, Mini sports fan ads could do Rob, TJ, and Lenny for Kobe White. Yep, they could do that. Um, the weird thing with that though is they would have to sign like 2 players to fill out their roster at like vet minimum or like restricted minimum contracts, which wouldn't be an issue, but like they could, like if that's something Chicago's down for. Um, Champ ads, think about a year ago, they had 8 starters. Now we have 6. Preach. Like, I think people weren't expecting the mic drop off to be quite this stark. And I like truly in my bones think they were hoping Rob would just take his job or TJ would just take his job. And then Mike could be at like a 5 to 8 minute role, but they just haven't. Like TJ has been one of the worst players in the NBA. Rob, I mean, whatever he did, he is just kind of out of any semblance of rotation right now. So it's tough. It's really tough to be in a spot where kind of none of their young guys worked out. Like even Jalen, for how much the fan base loves him, like objectively, it hasn't been good the last month and a half. So it gets really tough. It just, they find themselves in kind of this crossroads of, do you throw some of your assets into the middle of the table and try and get someone that can come in and be a guy for this team for the rest of the season and a playoff guy? Or do you hope that you guys can patch things together, right? Like hope that, TJ is going to come back healthy. Jalen will figure out his shot. Maybe Johan is a guy off the bench ahead of schedule. Like, do you hope that that's going to be a guy that, or these guys are going to be able to kind of limp into the playoffs with, and then save your big move for this offseason? Like, I'll be honest, I think I've been pretty consistent on it of like, I would rather save the assets for this offseason and try and pull something crazy off. I mean, there will be malcontent stars. Giannis looks like he's on his way out officially. Like, maybe Devin Booker wants out of Phoenix. Like, you just never know, right? Like Zion is in shape and wants out. Like DeJounte Murray comes back and wants out. Like, I think there are people this offseason that are going to be like with the Wolves full complement of assets, right? Like they'll have that 2033 first round pick. They have that 2032 swap. They'll be able to trade the 2026 pick as soon as the draft is up. You have Rob, you have TJ, you have Jalen, you have Johan, you have Rocco. Like you have a bunch of young assets. And then you have like the Dante, the Julius, the like these other contracts that you can pair together. Like I tend to sit in the camp of like, do something minor this year where you're not having to give up a ton. Maybe it's a buyout guy, maybe it's something more around the margins, and then take a big swing this offseason. But then the counter to that is like, you just don't know how many years Ant has like in his prime and like how good he's going to be. Like the pushback I get a lot is like Derrick Rose, right? Like Chicago thought they were going to have Derrick Rose for a decade. Injuries happen and it's over. Brandon Roy in Portland, injuries happen and it's over. Like sometimes you don't really have you don't really have the runway that you think you could. But again, it's kind of this crossroads for this team. Catching up over on the TikTok chat a little bit, a lot of Jaden talks over there, which I had Brandon Beck on the podcast from Crunch Wears No Pants not too long ago. Um, and he said he just wished Jaden would believe in himself. And that's probably the most true thing about Jaden McDaniels. Like his offensive bag is so deep. He has such a good mid-post game. He has such a good like get into the restricted area. He has the paint jumper. He has a 3-ball that's falling. He just needs to like take that opportunity, which like, I don't know, maybe 29-year-old Jaden is just going to be taking it. 25-year-old Jaden isn't at that point yet. So it's one of those weird things where I think if you like everyone I've talked to on the team, from Chris Finch all the way down to Bones, is like, yeah, we want Jaden to be more aggressive. We want him to shoot more. We want him to do more things. However, Jaden wants to get other guys involved and is still kind of like figuring out his hierarchy in the offense, which seems really weird when you have like Ant Julius and then big gap before Nas comes out. You'd think Jaden could just slide in there, but it again, it's just the reality of Jaden McDaniels. Like, he's a very unselfish player, and I think at his core, he's just a hooper. Like, I think the dude just every game he's out there playing just like he'd be playing in the park in Seattle. I don't know how you change that. I think maturity will help, but like I'm definitely taking, like, if you set the over under of like half an all-star appearance for Jaden, like I'm taking the over. Like I think he's that good. Again, over on TikTok chat, you know, little bit of Rob Dillingham chat. Someone asked, have we talked about why Mike is playing over Rob? Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, I've asked about that quite a bit. I know like John Krasinski's asked about it quite a bit. The main through line is like when Mike messes up, they're like expected mess ups. So like Rob at this point in his career is probably a better defender than Mike. Like, he's full court press. He has all the energy in the world. He objectively is probably better than Mike on the defensive side of the floor, right? When Rob gets cooked on defense, he doesn't like funnel the guy into Rudy. He doesn't take away the sidelines. He just kind of gets cooked, and then like the play's over. Mike, when he gets cooked, if you notice when he's getting hunted, it's always like he directs the ball handler towards Rudy or towards help, which again, like I just think that means something to this coaching staff. I think it means something to Rudy, where he can say, okay, he's going to get cooked, but he's going to get cooked towards me, so I know where to be in position. Whereas Rob, the trust isn't there. Rob, like off ball, you can kind of tell sometimes when he was playing with Rudy, like Rudy would be a little hesitant to like get to the rim on like a weak side because he was afraid Rob was going to give up a back cut. Like, just weird things like that, where like, although Mike is slower and not as good as he was at defense, it's just easier for the guys around him to know what to expect. And then offensively, like, Rob's a turnover machine this year. He has a 1.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio. He's shooting like 30% from three. Like, I understand the hey, we got to give Rob a chance so he can get minutes and he can like grow through this. But like, this team has enough problems. I don't know if like putting Rob into the fire and trying to get him his confidence when, the star player isn't closing out on a like last 2-minute 3-point attempt is going to help things, which again, like, it's unfortunate. Like, I do think, there's been some other chats of just like, is Rob on his way out? Like, that's kind of my expectation at this point. Perso has said over on the Twitter chat of just like, they should probably send him to the G League for a little bit more, get him some confidence. Like, I don't disagree with that. I don't know like the interpersonal side of it with Rob. Like, I don't know if they said, hey, Rob, we're going to send you to the G League, and Rob was like, nah, I'd rather stay on the main roster and like continue working in the practice drills and with like the coaches. I don't know if it's the coaching staff is like afraid someone's going to tear their ACL and they're going to need Rob and they're hesitant to send him back that way. But like, it does seem like he just needs to play through a lot of this stuff. And unfortunately, the Wolves find themselves as the 7th seed in the West on a 4-game losing streak. Like, they no longer can afford to let Rob play through it, which again, it sucks. Like, that sucks for Rob. It sucks for the draft pick they gave up, the middle schooler that is the 2032 first round pick they gave up for him, or 2031, the 2031 first round pick they gave up for him. Like, it's just tough. I think like for people that are out there like saying, "Hey, we really need this dude to get like a fresh start." Like, I'll be honest, like if let's say Ja Morant goes to the Kings, Keon Ellis comes to the Wolves, and Rob goes to Memphis, like I think like he can score 20 points a game in this league. Like the talent is there. It's just the like coming from a bench microwave scorer at Kentucky to leading an offense in the NBA, I think is a lot bigger of a gap than like anyone really anticipated, which again, it sucks. It just sucks. Another question of why does Mike come off the bench before Bones? That I wish I had an answer for you. I think it's, you know, if they were to take Bones and Mike and play them both 6 minutes in the first half and then kind of decide who's having the better night and go with that person in the second half, I think I would understand it a little bit better. But also, like Mike just has chemistry with all these guys. Again, I think Bones is getting there, and but my guess would be you're looking at, you know, the starting lineup. Mike has chemistry with everybody in the starting lineup. He's played with Rudy for years. Him and Nas have good chemistry. Like again, like if Mike gets cooked on defense, you know where he's going to get cooked by and where he's going to direct them. If Mike is missing shots on offense, like their shots you're comfortable with Mike taking. And as many sports fans says, like Finch has a lot of comfort with Mike. Like I think that ultimately is probably the end all be all, but like I do think there's like some method to the madness. I don't think it's simply like, oh, Finch hates Bones or something like that. I think it's a lot more of like there's just so much trust and chemistry built up that they like players want to play with Mike. Um, let's see here. Our best 2 wins in the season came under Micah. Fair. Would love to know why they blow leads. Again, right there with you. Even like searching for Jerry says on YouTube, like frustrating losing streak. 100%. Like this was a game that, you know, defense plays a little bit better, they probably win. Defense plays a little bit better in the second quarter, they probably win. They don't let the Bulls get into the bonus with 8 minutes left, they probably win. There's just so many opportunities that seem like they're missed, and it's really specifically against this type of team, right? Like people who watch the Wolves a lot, people that are in this live stream like with me, the Bulls are a team that plays hard. They have physical players. They have fast players. They play with good pace, and they don't give up on second efforts. Like this is the kryptonite for the Wolves. And again, kind of like I said, leading this off, I would not be surprised if they go out and beat Golden State by 30 on Saturday. Like it's just a really, really weird team. I think that's the best way to say it. I did see something over on TikTok about the Gophers turning into Indiana. I don't know if the football team will turn into Indiana, but the women's basketball team is really good. They might be. Um, Out of bounds call on Jaden too. Yeah, I didn't really talk about that one. That's tough too, right? Like they use their challenge on kind of a weird blocking foul Julius thing that not very good. And then literally the next defensive possession, they don't have their challenge. And Jaden, yeah, I mean, obviously not off of Jaden, even in the like in arena, uh, like Jumbotron, just tough, just tough. Which that's one of the things where it's like the second bench coaches are saying, you know, hey, this is a foul, or this wasn't a foul. We think he was moving still. Just get to a couple more questions here. Let's see here. T asks, how's Rocco doing? Everything I hear is good. Like he's got a good shot. He's developing well. I think with Rocco, the main thing right now, from what I hear, is that they just want him to get a little bit more built. They want to get him more like, not like bigger. Like he is a skinny dude for like a 7'5" giant, but like he needs to get like more muscular. He needs to get a little quicker on his feet. Like I don't think he's going to play for this team at all this year, but like summer league, I think is going to be super fun for that guy because he is a legit stretch 7'3", 7'4" guy that has good touch, has good free throw shots. Like he seems to I think it was Finch who was talking about it a while ago, like at the beginning of the season, of just like Rocco's like catches onto things really quick too. So I do think like he's going to be a fun thing to watch in summer league. 100 asks, why do you think Chris Finch plays Mike Conley still? If you want the answer to that, you can listen to the podcast that comes out tomorrow, The Missing Wolves, over on Spotify, anywhere else. It also gets posted live on YouTube as soon as I end the stream here. But I answered that a couple times. Basically, it's just a lot of trust. Nat, do you think Jaden could take a bigger role in scoring? 100%. Again, as we talked about earlier in this, like I think Jaden, as Brandon Beck from Crunch Wears No Pants put it, just needs to believe in himself. Like if that guy just forced himself to take 15 shots a game, I think it would do wonders for this team on offense. Ritvik asks, post-game locker room vibe. I'll be honest. Like I think, like football, right? Let's go to football, like because the Vikings put out a lot of their post-game stuff. A lot of rah, like everybody's pumped. Like you lose a game, everybody's pissed. They're throwing helmets. Like you win a game, everybody's jazzed for the next one. Like it is just awesome, right? NBA is not really that way. Like there's 82 games. These guys obviously are not happy that they lost. Like it's quieter. It's, everyone kind of wants to just like shower and go home and like wash off this game and start the next one. But like they're not like screaming at each other or like yelling at each other or anything like that. It's literally more of just a let's move on to the next one type of vibe. And again, this team has said the right thing for 3 years. Like Julius comes out after the game, we got to talk to him. He's sitting there saying like energy wasn't there. We got to put a lot more effort in. We got to play better. We got to have more attention to detail. We have to follow the game plan. Like that's everything you want to hear from Julius Randle. And hey, this one's on me. Defense wasn't good enough. Missed too many shots. Like gotta be better. I will be better. Can't get 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes. Like everything you want to hear from Ant is great. Nas, same thing. Long season. This can't happen. Kind of yada yada yada. Finch, I think, is more kind of pissed than anyone else because like Finch has been dealing with this for like 5 years. And I think Finch is kind of at the point where he's just like, why does this keep happening like every month? But like the players, they're a really like tight knit group. So I think they have a lot of resilience where they lose a game like this and they're just like, kind of like, damn, we did it again, which, what do you do? Catching up a little bit more, Teresa, subdued. Yes, subdued is the perfect word for it. Like after a win, it's rowdy. People are joking. After a loss, it's just kind of like we gotta get out of here and just get on to the next one. Do film tomorrow and kind of move on. Let's see here. Benmo asks, do you see Johan taking over for Rudy someday? Absolutely. Like I think that's their hope, is that 2 years from now, Rudy's done with that $38 million deal and Johan can just slide into that. He'd be 21, 22, 21, third year in the league. Rudy could probably step back into a bench role if he wanted to stay with the team. And like they play a similar style. I think Johan's a little more athletic and certainly has better hands, but like absolutely. Godfrey, this is Tim Conley's roster. He went all in on Gobert, drafted a 5'11" point guard, 8th overall. Interview him. Yeah, I will say I do wish Tim Conley, we really only get to talk with him at like the beginning of the season press conference. He usually does something at the end of the season and then at the draft and then in summer league. Like he doesn't do a lot of speaking. I'll say he's always around, but like, when you go up and say hi to him in the hallway, it's not like a great time to be like, why did you trade for Rudy? You know, is what it is. Tom Bamba will finish with this one. The effort on the court definitely deserves a 25% ticket rates. Um, yeah. I will say it's not an all 25% season ticket raise. Even though I cover the team, my wife and I still do have season tickets that we give away and do things like that. If you don't follow me on X, it's the same username. If you're on TikTok, if you're on YouTube, it's a Duke MN. I do try and give away tickets a couple times a month. Usually on X just as like a random wheel, but like our season tickets are only going up like 12%. I think it ends up being like $60 a month. Upper level tickets and some lower level ones are going up like 8%. So it's not like across the board it's going up 25%, but point is valid that yeah, it is tough um when they announce it during a 4-game losing streak. I think you'd like to hope that the timing of that would have come like after an Oklahoma City win at the end of the month, but I'll be honest, like the Wolves haven't done a ton of increases that much. Normally it only goes off like $5 or $10 a year, which my wife and I have, again, I cover the team. I'm in the media, but like before I did this, I was a season ticket holder. So we've just kind of kept it. And like, you know, it just kind of seems like they're catching up to the last 4 or 5 years where they haven't really had a ton of increases. I think with that one though, oh well, let's see here. A little salute emoji. Can you post more behind the scenes stuff on my page of the players? I can. I'll be honest. I normally post like everything on X, and then I take like 3 or 4 things and put them on TikTok because TikTok, how the algorithm works, it doesn't push everything if you post a bunch. So if you want a lot more behind the scenes, a Duke MN over on X. I am gonna try and do more stuff with TikTok though, especially like when I don't have a guest on the pod, just to kind of spread everything out. But I am going to close it on that one. Thank you everyone for tuning into here. TikTok, I always appreciate it when I do live on TikTok and there's more than a person staring at me in there. So appreciate you guys as always. If you did join the podcast late, this does get put up on YouTube and X as soon as I hit end stream here. If you want to listen to it tomorrow morning, I know Friday we are doing a ice out of Minnesota kind of protest thing where, going to be a lot of people sitting inside, probably, hopefully not getting frostbite in the like negative 30 degree temps. But this completely lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you hit 11 p.m. But if you want to listen to this tomorrow during that protest or at any time, Missing Wolves over on Spotify, anywhere you can get your podcasts. And then like I'm also covering the Lynx and the Gophers, so I'm hoping the Lynx will get their CBA stuff figured out so we can cycle in more of that content as well. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be back after the Golden State game. And we'll catch you then. Everyone stay safe over the next day and a half though. Stay warm. It's going to be brutally cold out there, which if you're going out to protest or do anything like that, just stay warm.